quote, lightning which cometh out of the east, end quote. In all his ministry, the Nazarene spoke and taught in parables and symbols. The East has always been considered as the birthplace of light, as the seat from whence wisdom must come. In all true initiation, men look to the East for wisdom. They travel east that wisdom might be given them. Lightning is symbolic of dispelling the darkness. Thus the coming of wisdom frees the mind of its ignorance or darkness. Even, quote, the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they shall hear and live, end quote. Those who have wasted their lives for selfish pleasure among the illusions and snares of all that is earthly, those who are, quote, dead, end quote, to the wisdom that is potent to save, those who have failed to accept the truth, having failed to act so as to build the soul into consciousness, are as dead. But even these shall yet live if they will hear the voice of God and live accordingly. Quote, out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which were the spirits of God, end quote. Quote, out of the throne, end quote. The throne is always in the inner sanctuary. It is in the innermost part of the temple. That temple is man. The soul brought to consciousness is a light. It is light. It is the fire of God, the Creator. From the midst of the throne, from this innermost sanctuary, comes forth the lightning, the light, so that it may shine forth unto all men as the light which is neither on land nor sea. The Nazarene was preceded by John the Baptist, who came crying in the wilderness of error. Quote, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight, end quote. He came to prepare the people to accept the truth, to be taught by one greater than he, by one better prepared. He said unto all, even to those who sought to accept him as their avatar, quote, I am come baptizing with water, meaning bring you the mental awakening. But one mightier than I cometh, the latches of whose shoes I am not worthy to unloose. He shall baptize you with fire, end quote. Always the parable of, quote, water and of, quote, fire. Water is the mind and all that belongs to the mental part of man. The mind must conceive and accept truth before it can be appealed. If this is done, then will man be ready for that which is to follow? This is the fire, the Holy Ghost, which will do to the soul that which the water did to the mind. Awaken it, bring it into consciousness so that it may become God or Father conscious, a part of the universal cosmic consciousness. As John the Baptist was the forerunner of the one greater to come, so is the science of the soul, the, quote, voice in the wilderness, end quote, proclaiming not a new law, but a plan and method, therefore a science whereby the soul of man may be awakened, developed, and brought into God consciousness. All this was symbolized by the birth of the Nazarene in the manger, by his journey into the land of Egypt, the, quote, place of darkness, end quote. The evils that abode in man, or Egypt, his instruction and initiation, and finally the descent of the Holy Ghost, or fire of God, whence he became the Son of God. John the Baptist was not the only, quote, voice in the wilderness, end quote, to proclaim the, quote, greater to come, end quote. Many before him came with the same mission. Many others must come before men will take heed. But the age of materiality and cold, soulless science, of false beliefs and delusions, the time of darkness represented by the term, quote, Egypt, end quote, is fast passing. And then it shall be said, quote, out of Egypt have I called my son, end quote. Out of darkness shall come the light. Egypt the great, Egypt the glorious, yet a synonym of darkness and unenlightenment, as out of the flesh shall proceed the fire which is God and the light of the soul. It may still be said of man, quote, and the earth, meaning man, was without form and void, meaning unregenerated, and darkness, meaning ignorance, was upon the face of the water, meaning mind, and God said, quote, let there be light, meaning understanding, and there was light, end quote. Moses gave these truths to the Jews, but they would not understand. The Nazarene brought them once again from the crypts and secret places of Egypt to the Gentile and Jew alike, but neither would accept. So now once again is the, quote, word, end quote, brought onto humanity so that it may hear, and hearing may obey and live. And, quote, as the lightning flashes from the east and sinneth into the west, end quote, so come these words of wisdom to scatter the dark clouds of materialism and dead faith, and spread the life-bringing light into the hearts of those who seek and would know. The day of the great awakening is at hand. He that baptizes the fire, meaning the Holy Ghost, is among us. The identical fire which found voice and spoke to Moses in the burning bush is awaiting and awaking in every human soul. It is the fire that lightened the darkness for the children of Israel after the initiate kings no longer ruled Egypt, and the usurpers had taken authority into their own selfish hands. It is the fire that descended in the form of a dove from heaven to bring peace to men who refused to accept. It is the tongue of fire which sat upon the apostles on the day of Pentecost. It is the illumination of the soul for those who have obeyed, lived within the law, and attained conscious individualization. Those who were foreordained by the law were not sleeping, meaning they were not waiting for a trumpet to sound and rout them from inertness and impotency. For they who sleep never accomplish, because they labor not, nor do they spin. These were bearing arms and shields to protect the good, that it not be betrayed and outraged, but held sacred unto the coming of the Lord. The multitudes have been and continue to be led blindly. They see not, nor do they hear. Only those whose eyes are opened, as were those of Saul of Tarsus, may behold the light upon the Shekinah in the inner sanctuary of the temple. He who knows has given the command that these saving truths shall be sent forth to the children of men, that they may become fully informed despite the teachings of the debasing, meaning unmanly, dishonorable. Doctrines of justification by faith and by vicarious atonement, which have led to many countless millions astray. The baptism of fire is at hand. That which is in the mind must give way to the things of the soul. The soul is greater than the mind, although at first it is a child in the manger. The soul is eternal. It is the light of men. It is the living fire which proceeded from God. We may accept and be saved, meaning attain soul consciousness, or we may refuse and be damned, meaning be encompassed by the dead. Throughout all the inspired writings of all the initiates, apostles, and prophets, men are warned to awaken from their sleep. Yet how few have ever given real thought to the meaning of these words. Paul said, "To be carnally minded, meaning asleep, is death, but to be spiritually minded, meaning soul awakened, is life and peace." The mind must be awakened. It must be made conscious that there is much more to life than to work for pleasure and profit, that there is more to be obtained that is beyond price. All earthly possessions are temporal, that there are spiritual things to be obtained, and that these things alone are lasting. The mind once awakened will no longer be asleep, meaning at rest, but become active in its search for the pearl beyond price, the life that knows no death. Ye are laborers, meaning builders, together with God. Ye are God's husbandry. Ye are God's building, according to the grace of God which is given unto me, as a wise master thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereon. Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, meaning the soul manifesting through the medium of the body and its actions, and the fire shall try every man's work, what sort it is. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple, meaning his body of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, meaning must be made whole and complete, which temple ye are. There are no qualifications here. Either we cleanse and save the temple so that God, the light, may dwell therein, or we abuse and degrade it, and then darkness, death, shall be its portion. God does not hesitate to say that he will destroy the unholy ones who fail to make themselves whole. This is saying that God, the fire, is within you. Being from God, therefore part of God, the fire will burn up, consume all that is gross or evil. All is dross that has not been purified. If the temple is filled with filth, meaning disease, and with the merchants, meaning profiteers, and with the money changers, meaning those who live by defrauding and debasing others, then the fire will certainly destroy them, and no amount of faith in a personality, however sublime, can save it. As God has said, he is a consuming fire.